Let me ask you, Kristalina, to focus on the high end growth scenario for the United States and other developed countries. The forecasts are for extraordinary levels of growth, 6.5% this year, something we haven't seen in many years. But people have begun to warn, and Larry Summers, former Treasury Secretary, warns very explicitly in this morning's Washington Post op-ed page that he believes that inflationary pressure is now a significant problem in the United States. Your IMF economists are as good as any in the world. I'm curious what their assessment is of the inflationary danger in the U.S., in Europe, in these countries that are experiencing fast growth. And then I want to talk after that about the interest rate consequences. But talk first about inflation and what you and your colleagues see.
Well, let me first say that high growth rates in the United States is a global public good. It has a positive spillover, especially to economies that are more integrated with this of the United States. It is creating a possibility of prices to go up. And let me explain the factors that are driving prices up and why at the IMF we are in the camp of those who think these are transitory factors. The first one is a boost of demand. We have the stimulus working in that direction. We have the vaccinations creating a much better environment for people to go out and spend. And that rapid jump in demand puts pressure on prices. And then we have supply chain interruptions. They're very real. They are holding the supply back. And let me remind the audience again, they may be sustained for much longer unless the rest of the world is growing in sync with the United States. These two factors, we believe, are going to be there for some time, but they would eventually be overtaken by supply being boosted and the interruptions in supply chains being corrected. And when we look at the longer term assessment of where inflation is likely to be in the United States, at this point, we do not see a major reason to be concerned. This being said, of course, we are watchful. And we are very grateful to Chair Powell for his clarity of communication and for his commitment to communicate well in advance, based on data, what is likely to be the policy of the Fed. And let me finish with the following. We have full confidence that the Fed has the tools to address inflationary pressures should they be a longer lasting phenomenon. Where we are concentrating our attention is more on the spillover impact for the rest of the world. David, you said we are going to get into interest rates. Yes, we have to, because if we are in a situation in which rapid growth in the United States leads to the need for some earlier correction of interest rates, in other words, an upward trajectory, while the emerging world, or a big chunk of it, is still deep into crisis, this can create pressure on countries and corporates to service their debt, especially dollar-denominated debt. And should that be combined with a stronger dollar, it can be a source of trouble. In other words, good news in the United States, in advanced economies, can turn into bad news for parts of the developing world. And we have to be watchful and ready with policy action should that be the case.